Week 9, Day 5, page 60, developingcharacter.org, and just send me a check to pay for the curriculum. Zero. It costs you absolutely nothing. The only thing that this curriculum costs you is 15 minutes a day. And some people, I had an email from a fellow the other day, and he said he was spending an hour a day. He's got an accountability partner, and they meet after the lesson, and then they spend, he said, an hour a day discussing the questions and so forth. What do you think he's getting from it? It's amazing, isn't it? And I've been told that there are several football teams that this is being sent to in Minnesota and Texas and Arizona and throughout the country. And that's good. But is anybody on that football team, are they calling their teammates and said, hey, what'd you get for question number 1? Do you have an accountability partner? Do you have somebody that's going to screw the braces on you? Hold you accountable for what you did? You know, I wanted to tell you, and I didn't do it because I don't want to put you in a bad situation. I wanted to tell you on Monday that, you know, as far as discipline's concerned, discipline means writing those 3 goals every Monday. Now, what is responsibility? Here's responsibility. For every plus, we've been looking at discipline this week. How'd you do? For every minus that you gave yourself, explain what happened. In other words, if you were not disciplined on Wednesday, you didn't work out, you didn't read your book, you didn't do what you should have done, you're going to accept responsibility for it, and you're going to explain why it happened. What was it? Now, if you say, I didn't have time, you know, it was a tough day, I kind of had a flu, I was kind of sick, you know, we had company come over and blah, blah. Then what you're looking for is sympathy. You're never going to be the best you that you can be until you do and you accept responsibility for who you are, where you are, and what you are. Don't experience the pain of regret. Every day, make it a plus. If it's not a plus, that's okay. As long as, if it's a minus, you write down why it's a minus and what happened and what you're going to do differently. Write down in complete sentences something you learned about discipline this week. What'd you learn? Should have learned 3 things. Screw the braces. If you really love someone, and this story is going to come up again, and the quality is going to be loving. Because if you really love someone, you're going to screw the braces on. Toughest thing in the world to do for a parent. When I was a kid, and my dad would say, this is going to hurt me worse than it does you, and he had that belt, I thought, you the biggest liar in the world. Because how can that hurt you, what you're fixing to do to me? Until I became a father. And there's nothing, not one thing in this world as tough as screwing the braces on your son or daughter. Nothing. And what's the problem with a lot of kids today? Nobody's ever screwed the braces on them. If you've got parents that are making you come in at a certain time and do certain things, and they're really screwing the braces on you, take time right now and say thanks. If you got a coach that's really holding you accountable, you know, every year, and we're going to cover this when we get to gratitude, I made every player on our football team write a letter of gratitude to one of the teachers at the school. And it couldn't be a coach, one of the teachers. And you know, you would never believe, I always read the letters because I wasn't sure what they was going to write. And almost every letter would say, I know you think I hate you. I'm going to say one of the very best teachers I've ever been associated with was a chemistry teacher in Marshall, Texas, named Celia Lewis. And I had kids that would tell me how much they hated her. Meanest woman in Marshall. And they had come back from college. One kid especially came back from North Texas and came by to see me, and he said, I got to go by and see Miss Lewis. I said, Ernest, I thought you hated Miss Lewis. He said, Coach, I hated Miss Lewis until I took chemistry at college. I was more prepared for the chemistry in college than any kid in that class. She was the best teacher I ever had. Which of the teachers do you think people really respect and are grateful for? There are ones that are their buddies? No. The ones that hold your feet to the fire and make sure you do it right. They screw the braces on. What'd you learn? You learn there's a pain of discipline or there's a pain of regret. Right now you're preparing for a season, you're preparing for a job, you're preparing for a wedding, you're preparing for your life. Are you using discipline or are you getting ready to regret? If it's not happening the way you want to, are you willing to go and get results or you want sympathy? That's the three things you should have learned this week. Screw the braces on, pain of regret, pain of discipline, results for sympathy. Looking back on the goals that you wrote, how'd you do? What quality is that going after? Remember this, purpose-driven is the goals. Commitment is the plan to accomplish the goal. Now you're developing responsibility because you're responsible for these goals that you set. It's not anybody else's fault. It's yours. That's responsibility. How do you become great? You remain humble. You become hardworking. You don't look for the easy way out. We've gone 9 weeks. I hope you've been here for all 9. I hope you stick with us for the next 27. It doesn't get easier. It gets tougher and better because you get tougher and better on yourself because after this week, you're more disciplined and you don't want to regret and you're willing to screw the braces on. You get better at what we're doing and you're going to be a better you. 580-212-7752, coachingtochange.lives@gmail.com. Call or email, whatever you want to do. Developingcharacter.org, page 60. I will see you next week.